everyone, my name is Gravity, and welcome to Pitch It Perfect Podcast, the podcast where we have no idea what we're going to talk about, so we pitch our own ideas about what we want to discuss each episode. And the winner of the previous episode will be who we will be pitching to, and who will decide which pitch will be our topic of discussion for today. Since this is our very first episode and there is no prior winner, I, Gravity, will be the first person who will be pitched to. How this works is that each of us will have about a minute to a minute and a half to pitch a topic for an episode. The winning pitch will become today's topic, and the winning pitch's pitcher will become today's host and will facilitate the remainder of the episode. Everyone else will become contestants, of which the host will award points determined by the host's own judgment, as well as how well contestants contribute to the topic at hand. And at the end of the episode, points are tallied, and the winner will be the next episode's pitchee, who everyone else will pitch their ideas to, and who will choose that episode's pitched topic. Here with me today, I have I have two strangers here that I met on the internet, Round Square and Andy. Round Square, introduce yourself first.
Hi, I'm Round Square. Round also works. I'm currently a student for viola performance. I'm going into my third year.
School of for what?
I'm going to school for viola performance for my bachelor's.
Viola, like a viola, like a big violin.
Yeah, big violin.
Okay, cool. All right, Andy, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Andy, and as of May 19th, I am a graduate of high school.
Oh, okay.
And I'm moving on to college.
Cool, what are you going to college for?
I have no idea. I'm going to go to college, get generals done and out the way, and then I'll figure out from there.
Isn't generals kind of like high school again?
In a way, yeah, I guess so.
Okay, well, good luck with that, and I hope you figure out what you're going to do with your future. So, do you guys have any other small talk that you want to talk about? I guess I should talk about myself. My name is Gravity. Not really. I have a real name, but I'm going to stick with Gravity. I am a sad person who wanted to start a podcast, and these are the two idiots I've duped into doing it with me. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
You didn't ask. She threatened us multiple times.
I think we already discussed that with our lawyers, that you cannot say that. Okay, anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. Why did you forget, Round? How did you forget?
I did not make you sign those contracts, okay? You signed them of your own free will. It says right here in the contract. So
for legal reasons, that was a joke.
For legal reasons, that was a joke. So do you two have... Okay, so do you two have topics that you want to pitch to me to see which one of you has the better idea for today's episode?
I'll let Andy go first.
All right.
I was going to let you go first, Round.
Well, I was going to let you guys decide it civilly, but since you don't want to, I guess I could flip a coin if I had one. Okay, well then, we'll figure this out. All right, let's see. Round, call it. Heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
Okay, let's flip this coin.
We'll see.
And tails never fails. It's tails. Round goes first. I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes, okay? And your time starts now.
Alright, so you want to know what's pretty cool? People going against the government. I think we can all agree on that. We all watched shows growing up where the main character went up against the evil authority, right? I want to combine those two things because what's really cool to me, musicians and classical composers. And what else is cool? Sticking up to the government. And you want to know what is extra cool? Someone who stuck up to Joseph Stalin and lived. Because the composer I'm talking about is one Dmitri Shostakovich, who Stalin personally did not like, but he survived until long after Stalin's reign was over. And he is one of my personal favorite composers of the 1900s.
So you want to talk about a Russian guy?
Yeah, he has a very interesting life. Well, it's also I'd talk about like what the culture of music at the time was in Soviet Union.
That's
I
pretty
actually know exactly who you're talking about.
I have no idea
Yes,
who you're
sir.
talking about, but I'm always interested in learning new things, so that's you got that going for you. You still have a minute to sell your topic if
Uh,
you want to keep going.
I would also talk about how his what I call his direct middle finger to Stalin and his suicide note piece, because he wrote a piece as his suicide note, but he did not actually commit suicide, and it has a very fascinating story.
So is this going to
Along
be
with,
you talking about a whole bunch of stuff that you know the entire time, or are me and Andy going to be able to participate in this, or are you going to lecture us?
you can participate. I wasn't understood, so I'm like, I know Shostakovich. I can ask them.
I suppose we could ask questions.
I
All
didn't
right.
really know.
No, you're good. You're good. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's a very fascinating topic, and I think I would actually enjoy a nice conversation about it. You have 10 seconds. Anything else?
I said please.
That's great. Politeness. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, round. Your time is up, and now it is Andy's turn to pitch his idea. Andy, go ahead. What is your idea?
Alrighty, so we're now at a day and age where technology is becoming more and more advanced. So like now, like these new websites. I'm sure some of y'all have heard of this thing called ChatGPT, where you can just type in a random prompt, like it's like write me a story about a dog and a child, and it gives you a story about a dog and a child.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also this other thing that I found rather interesting. It's rather interesting. It's also very unhinged, if I should say. It's called Inspirobot.
Ah, yes.
I think I've heard of it. I just don't know anything about it.
I've used Inspirobot, and it's more terrifying than inspiring, I have to say.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. And there was also this other thing. I think I've seen you like maybe do a few games of it on your YouTube channel. That I forgot what it was called, but it's where you're like in a room with either an AI or a human, and
Yeah,
you're talking to them.
I totally coppered another YouTuber on that because I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I want to do that too. And my computer did not want to play the game. I was able to do it a few times, but all my frustrations I kind of edited out. You have 50 seconds to continue your pitch.
Okay, I don't really have a whole lot else to say, other
Okay.
than
Are
please vote for this.
you forfeiting your
Being
time?
as polite as wrong, I am forfeiting my time.
Okay, so you have forfeited your time, and that will be hearing both of your pitches. Andy, how long have you had that pitch ready to go?
I've had it somewhat ready for like I want to say maybe like a week or so now, 2 weeks roughly.
All right, Round, how long did you have your pitch ready? Because I know that we're recording a lot later than I initially intended to.
It's like a week after you told me about it.
Okay. So I'm gonna be completely honest. I am a little bit AI out. I'm a little bit of AI fatigued. I feel like every other thing that I hear, either on another podcast or just in general, has been about AI and how it's taking over. And I don't know if my brain really has the motivation to really discuss it any further. But there's one thing that I've never discussed before, and that is a Russian guy who was a musician that a dictator hated, apparently. And there's something about a middle finger with some music.
Yeah, he wrote a symphony that was basically a middle finger to the entire government.
Is it? I'm guessing that it's a royalty-free music. Is that correct?
It sure is. I do have a soundbite that I prepared for Anon for the main thing that I want to talk about from it.
Oh, well, that's great. It sounds like you are super prepared. You have an interesting topic. You have sound bites. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think Round wins it here. Yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Here, I'll help out.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, intro.
All right, so round, that means I am passing the torch of host onto you. You are now the facilitator of this episode. You owe all the responsibilities of carrying this podcast right now is on you, so no pressure. You're just the one in charge now, and if it messes up, it's your fault.
All right, sick.
Okay, cool.
So-
Let's get started.
I'm gonna start you guys off with a question.
Okay.
What all do you know about Soviet era Russia?
There was a lot of purges.
That's very important to the story.
A lot of communism.
Yep, that's also very important to the story.
Rasputin.
Do you?
Rasputin.
He's not as important to this story, but he's fascinating on his own. But I have a question. Do you know about how Soviet Russia, how terrible they were about censoring things?
Pretty awful.
I'm
So
sure I've heard of it.
So there's this famous example of a picture of, I think it was a guy that Stalin didn't like or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a picture with him, and it was something top secret. And the Soviet version of censorship is they removed him from the photo. Like, they edited him out. They used their Soviet era Photoshop, edited him out like he was never there.
Yeah, that sounds.
Meanwhile,
weird.
in America, compared to where it's you see on the documents in the movies where it's all these black lines. So that makes talking about Shostakovich really hard, because you have to discern what is the Soviet government story they wanted to tell, essentially. Because, like most dictatorships, they have a narrative that they want to push.
Yeah.
And, well, like anywhere. And there's also the narrative that when people started discovering Shostakovich, it was just off the tail end of the Cold War.
Uh-huh.
And everyone was like, he's a dirty commie sympathizer. Shun
I
his
see.
music.
I see.
And
Well,
so-
the thing is if you're born in Russia and that's where you live and those are your people, how could you not sympathize with your own people? That's
Well,
stupid.
That's what's really fun about researching him, is you get to kind of put together what the story really is with him. But for reference, this is the dashing young man that I am referring to.
Oh, he looks like Harry Potter.
It kind of does.
That is Dmitry Shostakovich. But what I was saying though is that, and then you have the people nowadays who push a narrative, and this is what I think is really fascinating, that his whole life he was like, man, I hate Stalin, I hate communism, all of it is cringe.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't. So that's why I love researching him, because you kind of have to put aside and look for what really happened.
Yeah, it's really hard to take a concept like communism and give it any positive light whatsoever, because then you're just kind of officially blacklisted as like, oh my gosh, you're a communist. When it's in practice, the men are flawed creatures, and it's never gonna work in the terms of having a person having all the power and still staying true to being with equality with everyone. That's never going to happen because of just man's faulty nature. But in theoretical what's the word, just like ideas, it kind of has that weird existence of this works on paper, not in practice, because man bad.
Yeah. But that's what, like I said, I think the most fascinating thing about researching him is that, as opposed to researching someone like Mozart,
Mm-hmm.
because he's so recent, you can see an actual person.
That is
rather
very
than
true.
This like legendary figure. So let's start with the facts. He was born on Christmas Day in 1906 in St. Petersburg.
Christmas.
This is
birthday.
actually important because, as the history buffs know, he lived. That was before the Soviet Union became a thing and Lenin took over and all that. And growing up, he was he grew up to a very musical family. Like all of his sisters were pianists, his mother was a pianist. But growing up, funny enough, he wasn't like the 2-year-old tapping out piano concertos. He didn't really show an interest in music until much later. I believe he was 5.
That's still really
When he
early to show an
started.
interest in music, and
Wow.
that seems pretty typical because my son likes the piano and he's 5 and he doesn't really play.
this
He
is-
just kind of bangs the piano.
This is compared to Mozart, who like pretty much as soon as he popped out of the womb was able to start waddling. His dad put him on the piano.
I don't know how much I believe that because you remember you were like
Yeah,
saying like, this is the legend, and with this what's his name, Dmitri?
Yeah, Dmitri Shostakovich.
With this Dmitri guy, it seems like since he's more recent than Mozart, as you were saying, that we can get a better picture of like what actually happened. While like Mozart was like, I don't even know, when was Mozart born?
1700s.
In the
I believe.
1700s. Yeah.
Oh, my theory professor, he's gonna come after me for not exactly remembering it. I believe it was
January 27th, 1756.
Yes.
Sorry,
Bach
I just
died
steal that from you.
1750.
No, and you gotta let Andy talk too. Andy's gotta contribute to the
Sorry.
conversation. Remember, you gotta we gotta contribute to the conversation, and you gotta award points for whoever you think contributed the best.
I'm keeping that in mind.
Okay, good. Andy, make sure you interrupt him so that you can add your 2 cents, so that you can get points.
Yeah, gotcha.
So basically,
So it looks like Mozart was born on January 27th, 1756, died December 5th, 1791.
Yep. Mozart, he's crazy in his own ways.
He liked farts.
He did.
He thought farts
were
were funny, and farts are funny.
Mozart was truly the peak of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to depressed Shostakovich.
Okay, gotcha.
Spoilers. He suffers.
I
with
wonder if
depression for, like,
Wait, hold on! Don't interrupt him too much.
I wonder if Mozart. Okay, fine. Just go on.
Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. So he didn't really take an interest in music until he heard I'm gonna butcher this name, Straybog's Gallop, in which case he told his mom, he's like, I want to learn the part to it, and so his mom taught him like a simplified version, and then kind of realized, wait a minute, my kid has perfect pitch, she has an amazing memory, and he can improvise. And so his mom went up to this guy named, I did not write his name down.
Well, he lives in Russia, so let's assume his name is Vlad.
Yeah.
Vladimir Brezhnev.
I know. But so his mom goes to this guy and is like, hey, my kid's nuts. Listen to him. And the guy was like, oh my gosh, your kid's nuts. And so he ends up getting into, I believe it is the Leningrad Conservatory.
I don't know what that is.
A conservatory is basically big boy music school. That's where all the I hate using this word. That's where all the child prodigies go. They go to the conservatory.
Okay, so it's gotcha.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that is where Round does not go.
It's okay.
It's not where I go either. So
I don't go there. I don't belong in the gifted and talented class.
Oh, his name was Glazunov.
That's a name.
And yeah. And so eventually when it was time for him to go to college, he decided to go to the Petrograd Conservatory. And here's the thing about Shostakovich. I don't know if he was actually diagnosed, nor am I capable of making this assumption. He had a very OCD personality. And he is noted as having perfect attendance and stood out for discipline among conservatory students.
So he was a nerd.
He was a nerd amongst nerds. I don't know if you guys know the...
So he was the king of nerds.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Nerd.
I snorted. Okay, continue.
Typical communist pig propaganda right here. Everybody's already sympathizing.
Okay. Teach us more about Soviet Union music, man.
Yeah, so he spends a bit in Petrograd. Sadly, Shostakovich's his dad dies in 1922, and this is very important to him. He goes.
Are you just reading off of a research paper that you already wrote?
Perhaps. This is actually where it gets important.
Okay.
Let him cook.
This actually was one of the things that got him to kind of branch out more, because he was so consumed in just that lifestyle, he didn't really pay attention to anything else, and it kind of got him to start exploring and find his own voice. And eventually he gets to exiting his stage of being in the conservatory, where he starts composing. In his first symphony, his Pride and Joy, I don't know if you know this, very hard writing a symphony.
I bet.
How old was he when he did this symphony?
He was about 20.
Oh, okay.
For reference, I am 20, and the most I have wrote is a sonata project, which is awful.
Okay, but when did this guy live again? What was the year? Like, what year was it?
He was born in 1905.
Okay, yeah. So being 20
or 6.
Being 20 in like 1925, I think was like being 40 in 1925, and being 20 in 2023, that's like being 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you got a point there. But what's funny is that when his premiere for the first symphony, he can only get a local symphony because they're like, who's this Shostakovich guy? We're not letting him. The big orchestra is like, we don't care about him. We're not going to play his music, whatever. So he went to like a small local one where in it has a violin solo, and the soloist couldn't play it. And
so Russian Harry Potter steps in and steals the show.
No, Russian Harry Potter, he does something else.
Okay.
He actually kind of plays into it, because before he described it as like it's a symphony only in name. It doesn't follow the normal rules of symphonies.
Okay.
And so he kind of played into it because like the group absolutely butchered it. They did not play it right. It was an awful performance of it.
So so hold on. So he had an idea that was unconventional, and he went to pursue it, but the people who were the big shots and knew what they were doing said, no, we don't like that you're doing different things. You have to do it our way. But he was like, I want to do it my own way. And he tried to present his idea to other people, and they did it wrong.
It's more so like if I were to go up to someone in the New York Philharmonic Orchestra, which is the top one in America, and I were to say, Mr. Conductor of the New York Phil, could you please play my music? Me from Nowheresville, from a school you've never heard of, could you play this for me? And what would your answer be?
Absolutely, young artist who needs a chance to shine. I shall play your music.
You know what? I'll give you a shot. If it sucks,
I like your chutzpah.
I'll give you a shot, but if it sucks, you're fucked.
Funny enough, that actually happens later in his life.
Cat, what are you doing? My cat's on my computer desk.
He kind of plays into that because the reviews are like, it was this gross monstrosity, and he's like, that's the brand I'm gonna stick with for how I compose. I compose like stuff that's completely out of left field. No one expects it.
Is it music that would like be played in like a horror movie?
Yes.
Awesome.
He did film composition, and so this man, just for reference, he wasn't like a Joe Schmo at a conservatory. He was the best of the best.
So yeah, wait, if he's the best of the best, why is it that the people who are like the big shots of like the composing world didn't like immediately want to scoop up this prodigy?
Because here's a little secret about classical musicians. We're all jerks.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
We're all jerks. No,
that's just true.
Yeah, we're all entitled.
All right, go ahead, continue.
He played at Igor Stravinsky's wedding. Now, in
Igor Stravinsky. Who's that?
He's another composer.
Okay.
I know who
For
that is.
reference, Stravinsky. If you ask anyone who's like a classically trained musician, they will tell you Stravinsky wrote the most important piece of the entire 1900s, which was The Rite of Spring.
I was gonna guess, but I was gonna be wrong.
Oh.
I was
Would
gonna
you like
say.
to guess?
I was gonna say the Sugar Plum Fairy, the Nutcracker.
Right country, wrong. You're about 50 years old. I like your style.
Thank you.
Basically, this is the equivalent of being asked to play at the Queen's wedding.
Cool.
Like, that's how much pressure this was, and he even wrote it in his letters to his friends and family. He was like, "If I mess this up, I am no one will find me. I will go into hiding." He was a very accomplished pianist. He did a lot of crazy stuff. He is the definition of like a Hollywood movie about a musician. It's where they're absolutely cracked.
Have there been any movies about him or anything?
No, but he has composed for movies.
Oh, what movies?
What movie? Yeah, that's what movie.
I cannot remember because I did not write them down.
Well, I guess we can look it up later.
Yeah, that's Anyways, his actual composition and the stuff about Stalin. We all know Stalin. He's not a nice man.
Nah.
I don't think that's a controversial take to say.
What opinion do you have on... Wait, hold on. What opinion do you have on his mustache?
Not the biggest fan, but then again,
I mean,
I don't like a lot of mustaches.
All right, I'll let you have that. Continue.
I can agree with you there. I don't even like my own.
A good like immediate red flag to pick up on is if someone's a ruler of a country and they have a mustache, they're probably not going to do great things.
Look at a certain other one from North Korea.
He has a stupid haircut.
Anyways, but we all know Stalin. We all know Stalin. To the gulag, Joseph, to the gulag with you, Stalin.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 million people he sent and got killed.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Say that.
Don't laugh. That's a lot. People died. All right. Well, what's next?
At least 2.
At least 2 people died.
Stalin, he had this.
Sorry.
Exactly. Stalin, he had this idea of what music should sound like coming out of Russia.
Oh.
And you see this a lot with dictators because they want it to be glory to the nation. Everything produced makes the nation look great.
How do you think he would feel about
Yeah.
How do you think he would feel about one of the most recognizable Russian songs being used for a block stacking game, Tetris?
He'd probably be proud because Tetris was made for the cosmonauts.
Oh, it was?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I think he'd hate
Tetris,
it.
It was.
Say he'd hate it.
It was when they. But I'm not.
Go ahead.
Thinking about it and like the musical structure, that's probably what he'd rather Shostakovich have composed. Anyways, Shostakovich, his composition. Stalin, he wanted everything big, glory to Russia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now we turn, keeping that in mind, we turn to a certain year, 1945. Andy, do you know what ended in 1945?
Yeah, World War II.
Okay, yay, you're not dumb. Sorry.
Yeah, so I have a question, Andy. This is for Gravity. If you're a Russian, right?
Uh-huh.
And you are a true Russian citizen, and you see that you have defeated the Germans, what's your morale?
Fuck the Germans?
Well, like, it's afterwards, you won the war, how are you feeling?
Pretty good.
And that's
Hell yeah, we won, bitches.
Yeah. That was the view of everyone, so everything coming out there was like, the Soviet strength. And then comes Shostakovich, the little trickster that he was. he grew up on the communist ideals. He ate his communist cereal with his communist milk. All that. I don't know if they had cereal and milk.
I'm pretty
Who
sure.
knows?
Probably.
He was a good little noodle. He did all that. You know, he would joke about how it was silly how in his conservatory that he had to take a class on communist values because he's like, what does that have to do with music? But that's as far as his complaining went until his service, and he started to travel the world and see what the people who weren't in living the high life were seeing.
So wait, he was living the high life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because he's at a top conservatory and acclaimed musician. He might not have had the best house, but he was hanging out with the elite.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he went to a competition in Poland, and as you know, Poland and Russia, bit rough relationship there. Gets a bit rocky sometimes.
Just a little bit.
And so...
Alright, I want to let you know that we've been recording for about 40 minutes, so we have probably about 15 to 20 minutes left.
I'm wrapping it up, don't worry.
Okay.
These are the two things that I wanted to bring up with it. So, he writes his Ninth Symphony to celebrate the end of the war. And he does this really cool thing where he lies.
Okay.
And he says,
I'm interested.
He says there's going to be a grand choir just like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Everyone knows how Ode to Joy sounds. You know, da 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 da, that stuff.
Yeah.
And he writes it in the key of E flat major, which is the same as Beethoven's Heroic Symphony.
And how does that one go?
Okay.
Da dee dum bum ba da dee dum da dee da dee da da dee dum. Anon can make fun of me in the editing bay.
Okay.
So after he writes it in that, and so at the time, if you wanted to perform something, you had to get Stalin's guys to check it. So Stalin's guys, they're not musically literate, but they're enough literate. They see E flat major. They see Symphony Number 9.
Mozart?
This is gonna bring glory to the motherland.
Glory to Mother Russia.
That's what they thought. This is gonna be Russia's Beethoven 9. And instead, when they're meted to this, what I describe as, it sounds like a bunch of clowns doing a march with a piece that I call
Lord.
Funny Trombone, which Adon will play a clip here.
Wait, you can't play a clip for us?
Okay.
Bum bum. I don't have the file, sorry.
I was like, that clip sounds a
But
whole
you
lot
just
like
have-
your voice.
It's crazy. It's just this constant trombone entrance that's almost interrupting the music constantly as a joke.
It's like, do.
And the critics-
Okay.
The critics loved it. They were like, this is a super funny peak of humor, until one critic, who's Stalin's best friend, is like, bad. And then all the other critics are like, yeah, it's awful. Boo, Shostakovich, bad composer. In which case, he went on the run. He left Moscow and went back to St. Petersburg.
Yeah, you don't do something like
I mean,
that
I-
and
I-
don't know that you could
I
possibly
don't blame
be
him.
dead.
I did the same thing.
I don't know. I
I
might be
did
a
the same
coward.
thing if I could get.
Stalin
I
already
would do the
didn't-
same thing if I had the
so-
possibility of
so
getting
the funny
shot in
thing
front
is
of like
that
30,000 people.
The
Probably
funny
not that
thing
much,
is that
but still.
Stalin already, yeah, that is a good point, getting shot in front of Stalin already didn't like Shostakovich, but in honesty, Stalin was never going to send him to a gulag because Stalin described him as the village idiot.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that meant
He was
he was big brain genius, and the village
Oh,
idiot
yeah.
was the guy who was in charge. Can you please can you like go onto YouTube and like find this and like share it? I need to hear it. I can't wait for the actual edit to be done. I gotta react to it. Come on, internet. I'm gonna have to listen to it later, but I will. And I'm pretty sure it's as great as you say it is. I'm gonna pretend to react to it right now. Oh my gosh! Ha! That's so funny! It's great that he did that! I can't believe
Holy
he
crap.
pulled that W like that. What a legend.
You really did.
What a
Holy
legend.
bro, so crazy. How did he do that? How does he manage to do stuff like that?
Here's the sad thing about Shostakovich's life. For the record, he was terrified of Stalin even after he died. He lived in constant fear that him and his family were going to be sent to the Gulag.
What does
Even
gulag
after
mean?
Stalin
It sounds like
died.
a food.
It's
Like a type of prison.
you don't get
like,
food in the
million times
Gulag,
worse.
but
Okay, so I think we should probably wrap it up because my internet is starting to make you guys sound like robots. So, go ahead and...
That's
I'll end it with saying if you want to hear the real Shostakovich sound, listen to Shostakovich String Quartet number 8. It is the
Okay.
most depressing music you ever heard. He wrote it with his suicide note.
Okay. But he
and
didn't do it, though.
Yeah, his son stopped him.
Okay, well that's good. I'm glad he had a loving son.
Yeah. And he's in a letter to one of his friends, he wrote, "I've just finished an ideologically deficient quartet that nobody needs. I reflected that when I die, it's not likely anyone will write a quartet dedicated to my memory. So I have decided to write it for myself. You could even write on the cover of this string quartet, dedicated to the memory of the composer of this quartet."
Cool.
And he actually puts his initials in it. And Anon will play a clip of what that sounds like.
I've listened to the string quartet right now. I'm just imagining not just playing this music over all this talking.
Right, yeah, the
And that's
background...
about it.
Oh, what if the opening music to each one of our episodes is something by this Dimitri whatever dude?
Go for it.
Yeah!
Hey.
I'll find something.
Yeah, that's the basic highlights of Shostakovich.
Alright.
He was a very
Alright.
depressed man who did not like Stalin in a time where you were not allowed to not like Stalin.
I see. Alright, so which one of us do you think did a better job of participating in your topic?
You did. I'd say you participated more, but Andy's comments were more funny.
I don't agree
But
with that,
who
but
won?
you are the host.
I'll say Gravity did. But I know it's, but in my authority as host, Andy, you get a gold star for getting the history question right.
Yay!
So
And
what?
Gravity can't
Okay.
take that from you.
Okay. Well, it's not like a win really means anything because it just means that I'll get to decide the topic again. So even if I participate really well. Anyway, yeah, yay! A little bit of a Hall of Victory. I kind of wanted Andy to win, but he never talked, so can't really do anything about that. But I will.
Well, I'm a man of few words, okay?
I will gladly put the responsibility of coming up with topics back onto you two and me not have to do anything. That is something that I think I would be good for my mental health, actually, as of right now, because even if I did had to come up with a topic, I don't think I would be able to because I have a lot going on emotionally right now in my life. So you guys can take care of the topics and I will pick which one I like the best.
Okay.
Now it's gonna shoot me because I did not keep track of the times.
It's okay. So
God.
go ahead. I don't have an outro. Like, what do we say when we end this?
Go listen to Shostakovich.
The podcast done.
This has been Pitch the Perfect Podcast. We hope you all enjoyed. Or something like that.
Okay, bye.